Vite or webpack? Vite, because faster hot module replacement and just overall better DX for projects. Vue router or custom router? Vue router, just because it's so directly integrated with Vue's reactivity model, makes a lot of sense for my projects. Ref or reactive, definitely ref. It's just easier to use for some primitive values and has so much better control for reactivity. TypeScript or JavaScript? JavaScript, because it's a lot more flexible with Vue-based libraries, but I do like TypeScript, so don't hold me accountable. Cypress or Playwright? I used to love Cypress, but definitely Playwright now because it's stronger cross-browser testing, a lot of built-in features. Vuetify or Quasar? Vuetify, very well maintained, excessive pre-built UI components, just great design out of the box. Nuxt UI or Shadcn-vue? Nuxt UI, because I recently learned at Vue.js Nation that it's optimized for Nuxt's ecosystem and it has like built-in SSR support, so it's pretty great for that. Styled component library or unstyled component library? Unstyled component library, just because it's so much more flexible to match custom design systems in enterprise applications. Radix Vue or Arc UI? Radix Vue, I would say, because there's a lot of accessible UI components with very minimal styling constraints, which is great. Strappy or Contentful? I love Strappy. It's easy setup, great for self-hosting for headless CMSs. Fetch API or Axios for data fetching. I love Fetch API. It's lighter, it's native, and it's so much simpler. You don't need sort of Axios built on top of it. Nuxt or Vanilla Vue? Nuxt. It's better for SEO, and it has built-in SSR and static site generation. Scope CSS or CSS Modules? Scope CSS, because it just keeps styles modular by itself and it avoids a lot of global conflicts that you can have. Tailwind CSS or Uno CSS? Hands down Tailwind CSS. It's so much more utility driven and it's so much faster for front-end development. Node.js or Dino or Bun. Node.js, I'm an OG through and through, if you can't see with all my responses. It's a better ecosystem support for a lot of my JavaScript workflows, and I just love it. GitHub or GitLab? GitHub, more integrations, it's free, and that was my first repository. NativeScript or Ionic Vue. Recently worked with Ionic Vue and it has a really good hybrid support for mobile apps. So I think Ionic Vue is the way I would go. ESLint or Prettier for code formatting. ESLint, it has the best practices to be enforced and it prevents a lot of linting errors in Vue projects. AWS Lambda or Google Cloud Functions. AWS Lambda, again, it was one of my first serverless functions that I used. I've used it in a lot of DevRel projects as well. Sentry or Datadog or Rollbar or Bugsnag. I love Sentry. It's honestly the best for detailed error tracking in front-end world and love the performance monitoring that comes with it. Prisma or Drizzle? I like Prisma. It's type safe for a lot of database interaction, so I love that. Open source Vue libraries or in-house components. I love open source Vue libraries. Who doesn't? Community-driven solutions, there's something really special about them. They save a lot of development time. So definitely used libraries, web animations APIs, or CSS transitions for animations. I like CSS transitions. They're smoother, they have native support, and they're accessible. So definitely CSS transitions. PWA or SPA? I would say SPA, just because it has a better user experience for Vue apps, is my experience from it. Early riser or night owl? This is a very interesting question. I get both. I get more coding done late at night, but I'm an early riser and I do like to organize my day. So both. I sleep very little. Dark mode or light mode? I would say dark mode. Just reduces eye strain. I work on the computer like all day, every day, and I found it a lot better, easier on my eyes. Books or audiobooks? Books. I'm an OG. I just love reading books. I need to feel it. I love audiobooks, but books, well, any day. Urban exploration or nature hikes. Nature hikes. I have a dog, a golden doodle, and I love to hike since I work remotely. Cooking at home or takeout. Cooking at home. I enjoy experimenting with a lot of vegetarian friendly food these days, and I just enjoy cooking and baking at home. Emojis or GIFs and messages. Emojis, they're quick. You have to think a lot about GIFs. Calling or texting. Texting, just because it's so much more efficient and I don't have to be on a call. Podcasts or music playlists. Podcasts, because I learn a lot more, I stay updated, and it can be in the background while I'm doing some other work. Android or iOS? iOS. I have been using Apple since it was like the first iPhone came out. So, if actually I've been using Apple since iPods came out. So, back then when we didn't have phones and iPods together. Digital planner or paper planner, digital. I work on the computer. I do everything. It helps me organize content plans, conference preps. Always digital. Reading blogs or watching tutorials. I personally prefer reading blogs because I like to go through things step by step. I like to do a lot of pauses, and with tutorials, I tend to pause, or sometimes you can see that people have skipped over steps. It's harder to do that in a blog. Desk setup minimalist or maximalist? Minimalist. I don't usually have anything on my desk outside of like my keyboard, my drink, and my microphone, and then all my monitors and stuff. So very minimalist setup. Coding in silence, background music, background music. Lo-fi has been like my new thing. It helps me really focus when coding and writing. Live concerts or movie nights. That's a hard one again. Both. I do like unwinding with a good film, like on the weekend, but I love a good concert. So